Hey, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well on this fantabulous Wednesday. Anyways, it feels like it's closer near the weekend. I do want to comment on because I've been watching a lot about Jeannie Mai, what her and her ex-husband is going through, and also I watched explicitly about the fact that her brother now is getting involved and getting involved in their marriage and stuff like that. Well, these are my honest opinions about what I really believe is going on, and of course, because I'm Vietnamese, I will stay in that. I do see a lot of myself in Jeannie Mai as well because I am Vietnamese and I've dealt with my own sense of childhood trauma. So there are a lot of similarities in my life, in her life, and I just feel like she's going through a lot with her relationship, and so I wanted to really give my real thoughts about her relationship with her ex-husband, uh, Jay-Z. Is that there are a couple of different things that I wanted to talk about. The first thing is, we all have our different opinions about their relationship. I don't know her relationship personally, but from what I have heard and how, her brother has said that he made her look like she was evil and this, that, and third. Well, Jenny, she went through a lot of childhood trauma. I was just watching her childhood trauma story, and it was just so heartfelt dealing with her mom and her mom. And she was talking about her mom being, her dad, her grandfather being very, physically abusive and things like that, and emotionally abusive. And I would like to comment on a couple of those different things. And of course, their relationship as a whole. I'll go back to that. But, I just want to say that, domestic violence is very controversial topic. And it's also one of the most tragic stories ever because, there's so much that gets involved. Your emotions get involved. It's very chaotic dealing with domestic violence situation. And the biggest thing is that you have to take away from this is the fact that you know Vietnamese people, it is really hard to depict on the different things that I've learned as far as the Vietnam War and reading different chapters of the Vietnam War and really digging deep as far as to why it was so heart wrenching because there's so many different factors as to why I've literally heard a lot of time with North Korea and how there was a lot of threats that happened in war and things like that, and there was a lot of shooting and killing and just all this craziness stuff that happened. But a lot of the Asian community, we deal with a lot of tragedies. That's one thing that I was very empathetic about is the fact that we go through a lot of the you know discrimination and we go through a lot with our mental health and things like that, in which Jenny really addressed that very clearly. I do agree with it that Vietnamese people don't open up about mental health, which is one of the things that I really want to advocate on because I am a healthcare student. I'm taking up healthcare administration and I am a life insurance agent. So there are several different things that come into factors when you're talking about like mental health and how important it is to get out your feelings, just like Jenny had expressed. And she really she really went into details of how important it was for her mom and her to really open up about her mom's childhood trauma. So, in fact, I really truly believe that childhood trauma is based on different, post traumatic stress disorder things. We see so many different factors of flashbacks and reoccurring events that happen in our minds because you got to remember the things that have traumatically impacted your life, it comes back to you in it's like a nightmare. It comes back and it haunts you. So that's why it's so important to go back and readdress what is happening and how it happened and what events triggered it to happen. That's the first thing. Because I mean, I've studied psychology for so long. My best friend was a licensed psychologist. So I knew that when my mother was struggling with mental illness, I knew how important it was for her to get out all of her thinking and all the different things that were going on in her life, which apparently I took very good care of my mother being a caregiver for her, but just not just that, but just really reinforcing the ideas that mental illness will not change unless we address the problems. Okay, but anyways, back to the story of Jeannie Mai and her husband's divorce, like her ex-husband's divorce. Like, what do I really think about it all? I really believe that he really, made her feel very heartbroken. I mean, because like he didn't even really announce it to her that they were divorced. He was filing for divorce, and all these things had happened so quickly, and it got on social media, and it was exposed to the whole world, and saying all this crazy stuff about her life and what had happened with her and her child and things like that. And honestly, those things are really devastating in a family because like what Jenny has said is that in Vietnam they do not believe in divorces, and whether or not emotional abuse has occurred or whatever the case may be, they just don't believe in divorces. Most people in Vietnam are either Catholic, Buddhist, or some type of religious cult type of religion. I mean, I'm not stating that just to say that, but it is the truth. When you look at the different factors, there are a lot of different factors to this. But anyways, like, do I feel like he did her wrong? Yes, I do believe he did her wrong, and I do believe he should have been more empathetic towards her feelings and the things that were going on because they do have a child together, and it really addresses the problem, and the root cause is the fact that there's just so many different things, culture differences was there, and it should have been talked about. And the biggest thing that I saw throughout what she was saying is that therapy should have been brought up. Marital counseling is very important in any relationship. That's the healing part before you even decide to get married. And this is why I truly believe when you have two people coming together in a marriage, you have to really think like logically, is this really what I really want? And is this person going to be with me for death do me part? Like death do us part, because like you'll end up creating so much more pain, so much more hurt onto yourselves, which they're already dealing with that right now. And I feel for her family. I really do. I really hope that she can work whatever situation she has out with her ex husband right now. And just, I mean, even if all hell breaks loose kind of situation with her brother attacking him and things like that, I just feel like it needs to be certain things need to be addressed, and I do understand why her brother would have felt the way he did, and attack. Well, obviously attacking him was not the greatest solution to everything, but he did what he had to do to protect Jenny from being heartbroken. I mean, I think that would be, if anybody was caring enough about your feelings, they would try to protect your feelings, and that's something that he did not do. That's something that her ex-husband did not do. He did not protect her feelings. He didn't care twice about what he was thinking about doing, because anybody who is apologetic, empathetic, they wouldn't have just not like put it out there for the whole world to see and made it viral, and just put all this hatred into it. You just don't get anything out like that. And like in the Bible verse, you reap what you sow. Literally, my best friend says it all the time. You reap what you sow. And so whatever you put into the world, you get out into the world. So I truly believe in that, and I truly hope and the best for the both of them, that they end up figuring out what they need to, in spite of their differences, their culture differences, and to bring a child into this world, which is a blessing on its own. Because I know I have a son of my own, and I really would do anything to protect my son from doing any kind of harm to him or anybody trying to make him feel bad about himself, because that's what our job as a parent is to do, to protect our kids, to make them That's my ultimate responsibility, is to taking care of a child. And whether or not, my son's father was want to be in the picture or not, that's totally up to him. He will end up having to reap what he sows, just like anybody else in the world. But anyways, I hope you guys like this video, and I hope that I'm able to sincerely do whatever I can. If you love to support my channel, feel free to comment me down below, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And for anybody who has concerns about, divorces or relationships, we all can learn something from each other. I hope you guys have a fantastic Wednesday. Until then, have a great one.